bon Dieu que nous t'ai passé un bon week-end. So let's get the show on the road. Non, moi c'est Daniella Noel. Moi c'est un licensed broker, insurance broker. Et programme ça, son programme nous mettait sous pied pour nous parler monde de façon que vous capable de vivre une vie meilleure. Pas vrai, parce que nous quitter pays nous. C'est pour nous chercher la vie meilleure. So, moi vini pour des informations pour nous qui capable aider nous, qui capable faire nous élever financièrement. Again, non, moi c'est Daniela, moi dans Florida. Mais moi capable aider moun quel que soit côté quel soit état moi capable aider so comme un financial broker nous aider moun sous assurance retirement sous gen ti moun plan de collège pour yo pas vrai et nous montrer comment que si vous gagnez bien ici comment on capable protéger parce que c'est très important pas seulement faire bien mais comment on capable protéger en cas que ou pas là encore comment famille ou capable héritier bagage ça sans problème right so jodi a moi à parler avec nous de un topic qui très important okay again thank you everyone for hopping on today's Monday. This is the time I come on and talk about things that matters, things that we need to put in place to protect ourselves, to protect our family. I am a licensed financial broker. I am in Florida, but I am licensed in all 50 states and able to help clients in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico and Canada, right? So it's a topic I'm talking about today, a topic that a lot of people don't like to hear about it or don't want to think about it, right? So as a financial broker, I'm able to help families, individuals, business owners put things into perspective, financial matters into perspective, so that when they get sick or when they're no longer here, their families are not left in chaos. So today I want to talk about the impact, right, of life insurance, why life insurance matters, right? Most families are one loss away from financial chaos, right? Loss could be a job, could be a life, right? Again, we always think we have time, right? But do we have time? Life insurance is not something that we want to talk about, but it is something that we need to talk about. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about insurance, but it's necessary because no one plans to leave their family unprotected. But many families do because of the fact that it is uncomfortable conversation and they think they have time. Let me tell you, no, you do not have time. So let me share some data with you guys, right? En pile famille pas vle parler de assurance parce que vous pensez au temps parce que son conversation qui pas confortable mais son conversation que nous devons gagner avec famille nous parce que yon maladie qu'a quitté famille nous dans destruction la mort qu'a quitté et la vie famille nous dans destruction spécialement laisser nous-mêmes qui a travaillé même qui premier qui travaille pour supporter famille nous, right? So the data shows about 40% of families feel the impact of a loss, especially when you are the breadwinner, within six months. Reason being, we are not prepared. We don't have a budget. We don't have emergency funds, right? So we are living paycheck. Most people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. So there is no savings. So within 6 months, families are going into debt, are going into chaos, right? 44% of families in America feel the impact of the loss within 6 months. 57% within a year. So you have to ask yourself, look at what you have in place for your family. Look at your savings, your investment, whatever that you are betting on to live for your family. So look at it and ask yourself, my family has 6 months or a year, or can they live beyond that, right? So again, I know that a lot of us, especially we islanders, we see life insurance as, we're gonna die. We're putting a dead date, a death date on us. No, it is not the case, right? So again, those numbers are not opinions. Those are based on people that are surveyed, right? And those are real numbers, real raw data that 57% of families feel the impact of a loss, whether it is an income that they lost because of disability, accidents happen. Let me share the other statistics with you guys. When it comes to illness, 1 out of 3 people in America are being diagnosed with cancer. 1 out of 3. So you have to ask yourself, what are the odds that you would be diagnosed with cancer? And cancer treatments are very expensive. Do you have the funds to pay for that? If you are unable to work, how long can your family survive, right? So when you get sick, so we're talking about life insurance. We're not just talking about a death insurance, right? So there are different types of life insurance. You have term, you have whole life, and you have a permanent life, which is known as the index universal life. I'm not going to go deep into them today. Just want to share with you why, right? If you are living in America, why you need to have a plan in place for your family. Now, whether you are become disabled or you are dead, right? You're no longer here. Guess what? The income stop. Your income stop, but the bills don't. The mortgage, rent, car, childcare, food, utilities, they're still going on. They are still expected to be paid. So when you don't have a plan that can take you beyond 6 months or a year, inevitably your family will go into chaos, will fall into destruction. It will not be easy. So it's one thing you lose the family and you have to suffer from it. That is just insane. So I hope none of you watching me, right, is putting yourself or your family in that position. When the primary wage earner, when the breadwinner is gone, the income goes with them. But the mortgage does not pause. Childcare does not wait. Life keeps billing. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what do I have? If I'm a mom, a dad, I'm the provider for my family. What happens when I am no longer here? How long can they survive? Right? So again, they lose you, that's grief, plus the financial stress, that's chaos, that's chaotic, right? So when we're talking about life insurance, right, it's not only about death, disability, it's about income replacement. A lot of people, when they hear life insurance, they say, hey, I'm dead. I don't know. I don't need to know anything. They can do whatever they want with me, right? So, which is selfish. Anyone who has that mentality that is not prepared for their family, is not prepared for their final expenses, you're just selfish, right? To think that, oh, you're dead, they have to bury you. I understand, right? They cannot, keep you in the freezer for long. So they have to bury you. But we are called to be good stewards. We are called to be responsible. So you need to have things in place for your family. Again, you have 4 types of life insurance. Term. When we hear term, so who is term for? It's for someone who wants to pay their debt, who wants to cover down their bills for a period of time. Because imagine you are the breadwinner and you are no longer here. Your family needs to go on. So term insurance is for those who want to cover down debt, right? Who want to pay their estate taxes, their bills. Guess what, guys? The bills, they do not die with you. Your family still has to pay your estate taxes. They still have to pay your bills. So there is a type of term that That's all it does to cover death. I wouldn't even call it life insurance. It's death insurance because it only pays out when you die. But there's a type of term insurance that you can have with particular companies, right? Not all term insurances are equal. Not all companies are equal, right? Some companies, they will give you a term, but you have what is called living benefits. Living benefits are critical, chronic, and terminal illness. Some companies will tell you, okay, we offer living benefits. They're only offering you terminal illness. Terminal illness is not living benefits. Terminal illness is when you have a condition that lasts, the certified doctor said, hey, you only have 12 months or less to live. You have 6 months or less to live, right? If you have stage 4 cancer, and if you have incurable disease, yes, you have 12 months or 6 months or less to live. You get terminal. When we talk about living benefits, we're talking about critical, chronic, terminal illness. Critical is when you have a diagnosis of cancer, stroke, heart attack, and if you have liver disease, you need a liver transplant, right? Organ transplant. That's critical. And chronic is when that condition enables you to work for more than 90 days and you are still in need of help. If you are unable to do 2 of your 6 of your daily activity, like if you're unable to dress, if you're unable to transfer, if you're unable to eat, you need assistance, right? Your daily activities is bathing, eating, transferring, toileting, and right? So if you cannot do 2 of the 6 activity, they will pay you 2% of your death benefit, right? And terminal is when you have 6 months or 12 months. Some companies, 12 months or less. Some companies, 6 months or less. So what they do, they give you 90% of your death insurance. Go live your best life. So now, who is this for? Someone who has a young families. Term insurance is for someone who has a young family and they care. They want to make sure that when they're no longer here, the kids' college can still be paid for, right? If you have a home, that the mortgage can still be paid for. I've met many people who become homeless because of the breadwinner did not plan for them. Thank you, those who are watching. Hello, Isaac. Hello, Max. Thank you for logging in. Yes, share the live, comment, and like. Show me some love if what I'm putting down, if you are getting what I'm putting down. So please like, share, and comment on the live. So thank you very much for hopping on. When I give you guys prop for doing that, right? So who needs term insurance? Someone who wants to cover down their debt for a period of time when they're no longer here, or someone who wants to have income replacement in case of an illness, right? So term insurance, not saying it's bad, but it's good if you have young family and if your finances are not where they're supposed to be, because term is typically cheap, right? Or inexpensive, not cheap because it adds value, but it could be inexpensive. Like a 30-year-old can have a policy, right, for $20, $25, $200,000, $300,000, right? Leaving that for a family, that can change the trajectory of your family's generations to come, right? $200,000, $300,000. The average American does not have $50,000 in their retirement plan. Go figure, right? Again, lack of planning. So that's why we come here to share those things with you, to bring to light what you can do so that you don't fall under the stats, right? So now you have to say to yourself, okay, what type of life my family will live if I don't have something in place? So if you don't have anything, you need to DM me for text so I can get with you so that we can put something in place for you, because your family doesn't have to suffer because of your lack of planning. But today, you are put on notice. You too can have something. It could be $40, $50. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. There's a lot of people that stray away from getting life insurance. They think, right, that life insurance is expensive. No, there's a plan for everybody. We have our motto is no family left behind. So we do not want your family to be left behind. So make sure that you get protection for your family, right? Because they matter, they deserve it. And I know that you care about them. I do not want to be the one, right, to go tell your family you didn't care, right? Again, life insurance, it's not only about death. If you get sick, you can leverage it as income replacement. Again, term insurance is good for newlyweds, young parents, single income households, right? So, and we have a second type of insurance, whole life, right? So a lot of people hear whole life, and a lot of times they come to me and say, okay, I want whole life, but do you know how it works, right? So we have two types of a whole life. You have a whole life that has cash value, and you have a whole life that is serve as a final expense. It has no cash value, right? So again, you have the traditional whole life, and you have a final expense whole life. So when is this applicable, right? Whole life, you can get it at any age, but once you understand, right, how it plays in your situation, how it plays in your family, and how it plays into your financial destination, is it a vehicle to get you to your destination, right? So the cash value whole life, it's bill cash, so you pay into it. It's for those who want to set it and forget it, right? Because you have to pay into it until you are 100 years, right? Sometimes you can have a 10 pay or 20 pay. You want to set it and forget it, right? You have cash value, and you have the final expense. Final expense, whole life, is again good up to 100 years. You don't have to renew it. You don't have to do anything. Once you qualify and you pay for it, you have it up to 100 years. That is for people who are elderly, right? Because remember, guys, your premium is derived from your health rating, your age, right? So if you have good health, you can have a good health rating. But if you are in your 60s, 70s, at that point, you can still get a regular life insurance, but it will be very costly. So at that point, I offer my clients a final expense, because a lot of times their kids are paying for it. So they just want something to cover down mom's final expense. So you can get final expense plan, whole life, final expense, 50,000, 100K. But again, it will be costly. So now the cash, the traditional, that has cash value built into it, right? So as at 100 years, yes, it built cash. It depends on the company, right? Because a lot of companies, they pay based on dividends, right? So if the company is not doing well, your cash may not be growing as much, right? So doesn't expire, cash building, but there is no guarantee. It depends on the company. So your protection is locked in, but your death benefit does not grow. So you have what is called a level death benefit. One mistake that people make when it comes to life, oh yeah, I have cash. But do you know that if you don't use the cash while you are still alive, the cash does not go to your family. It goes to the back to the company. So you have a level death benefit. If you are young, again, I'm not saying it's bad, but know what you have and the purpose. Why did you get into a whole life? That yes, you do have cash build up into the strategy, but depends on when you take it. If you take it out, you have to pay it back. You have to pay a high interest. Sometimes the interest that you're earning on that cash, right, is lower than the interest you would be paying if you borrow that money. Again, the cash doesn't go to you, it goes back to the insurance company because you have a level death benefit. I call it level is the devil, right? So again, if you don't use the cash, you don't get it. So what's the point? Some people understand how the strategy work. Some people have been leveraging it. You have to understand it, right? So don't think that, hey, you're building cash, not only that you can take it at any time and you don't pay interest. So you have to wait for it to build. You have to pay it back because if you don't, it will deplete your your policies. I've had, like, within the 5 years I've been in the industry, I think I've met with at least 8 families that said, "Oh, my mother had a whole life, and guess what? Mom was taking money out of the whole life, and when we called the insurance, no, it got depleted because she did not put that money back." So very important to understand that you don't get your cash when you die, or your family doesn't get the cash when you die. And if you take money out, you have to put it back. And the interest that you are being charged many times is far greater than the interest that the company is paying you. So, whole life is not as it is expensive, much more expensive than the term. Again, but it gives you a foundation, right? Can leverage as a legacy tool because remember, you don't have to renew it. You set it and you forget it. As long as you pay your premium, it will not go anywhere, right? So it is about controlling certainty for your family. As long as you pay your premium, it's good. You don't have to renew it. Unlike the term, if you have a 10, 15, 20 years, you do have to renew it. And one thing that you need to keep in mind for those who do have a term and who believe in the term, hey, that is fine. But think about after 30 years how old you are going to be and will you qualify for that term insurance? Because again, remember, your eligibility is based on your health rating. You are much older and you have medical conditions. At that point, they really see you as a liability. No, they will not take a chance on you and giving you insurance. So, again, term. Do you know your death date? Do you know if you're going to die within 30 years? I want to live a long life. So, no, I'm not going to buy an insurance that says I'm going to die in 30 years. So you have to ask yourself, okay, you pray for long life, right? And you're buying a term insurance that says you're going to die within 15, 20, 30 years. Again, I'm not saying it's bad because I do sell term insurance. If I meet with a young family whose finances are not what they're supposed to be, I'm not going to leave them uncovered. I'm going to give them a term. But again, with the companies I deal with, they can convert that into a permanent strategy when their finances get better. But I do not want to sit with anyone who says, I'm going to get a term because, that's all I need, or I don't need insurance beyond that. Says who? If you live beyond 30 years, you don't need to cover your debt. You don't need to leave a legacy for your family. So I think we need to sway away that mindset. Oh, after 65, I don't need insurance. The kids are grown, but you still have debt to be paid, right? You need to leave a legacy. It is called unto you, right, to leave a legacy for generations. You want to be a good steward, right? So yes, you need insurance beyond 65, right? So you have to ask yourself, when that term that you have, when it expires, what is your health condition going to be? Are you guaranteed to be young and vibrant and healthy? I wish I can say that, right? Again, right here in America, 1 out of 3 people are being diagnosed. 3 individuals are diagnosed with cancer. Right? And 2 out of 4 stroke. heart attack. So you have to ask yourself, if something happens to you and you are unable to work, how do you protect your family? How do you replace your income? Right? And when you die, does your family have to do a GoFundMe for you? You have to ask yourself, do you want to be embarrassed in public? For people to be raising funds, giving you $5, $10 for your funeral, for your burial? You're worth more than that. So protect your family in private so that you're not embarrassed in public. Again, term insurance, it's not bad based on where you are financially, right? Get something that can be converted. Many companies will allow you to convert your term within a period of time. Then the last strategy is what we call the index universal life. It is a permanent strategy that carry you up to 120 years, 21 years. So if you want to be like Moses and Abraham, that's something that you want to look into, right? It's good up to 120 years. It gives you flexible premium. You decide how much you want to put for how long, right? Some of my clients, they want to put into the strategy for 15 years, 20 years. You decide, you strategize your own plan. You control how you want the strategy to work for you, right? Yes, a lot of people have given IUL, Index Universal Life, a bad rep because the agent has the power to control the strategy, how it's designed. So when you hear that Index Universal Life is not good, it's based on how it's designed. Yes, the agent has the ability, right, to control your premium, how much you get, right, and how quickly you can build cash, right, so that you can tap in to the policy. Again, shame on those agents who want to make money and not care for their clients, because I can control how much I make on a policy when designing an IUL. And shame on you if you're an agent and you don't care about your client and you only care about what your commission going to be. So the Index Universal Life, but it provides you compounding interest. So it has a lot of benefits, right? Some people call it peace of mind. Some people call it bank on yourself because of the benefits it offers you. Not only it gives you the benefits of term, right? It gives you the living benefits, critical, chronic, terminal illness, and you can add on a long-term care rider. So whenever you're adding a rider, yes, you pay for it, right? So why you need long-term? You're not going to stay young, sister. You're not going to stay young, brother. You're going to need long-term. At some point, you're going to need to be in a nursing home. So you have to think how you're going to pay for your nursing home. Or if you become disabled, you don't have to be an elderly. Let's say, so a couple months ago, we had a truck driver. I think it's like 37 or 40, drove off a hill, right, off a cliff. Thank God he didn't die. Well, he can never work, can never, at 37, can never work again. But guess what? He had a policy that has long-term care. So he will get his critical illness. He'll get 24% of his death benefit. Then 90 days after that, he can tap into his long-term care benefits, right? So long-term care is when you cannot take care of yourself, when you become disabled. After 90 days, you can tap into long-term care. Elderly, when you go into the nursing home, you can pay for your room and board, right? So if I can share with you guys briefly how I got into this industry. So my background is healthcare. I'm an accountant by trade, right? So worked in the nursing homes, worked in the hospitals, 23 years in a nursing home. Did accounts receivable, account management. And I had clients who would come in and I didn't need to apply for Medicaid for them. They had long-term care strategy that I would be billing for them every month. And of course, I really didn't know how the long-term care strategies really work. I just filed their claims and I got paid, right? So they were my best friends because I know that my money was guaranteed every month, right? So when they come in, guess what? We treat them. We did give them preferred treatment. We gave them VIP treatment. They are able to pick the best rooms, the ones with the window view, right? If we have a lake view, because I know that money was guaranteed. So it wasn't until I bought my house in 2020, then I got the chance to sit down with someone because I wanted to make sure that even though I've had insurance, but I keep hearing about mortgage protection, mortgage protection. I wanted to protect my mortgage in addition to life insurance I had because I want my house to be paid off and kept in the family. So I sat down with her and she was explaining to me about living benefits. And then she came up with the topic of long-term care. And I said, hold up, what do you mean? So this whole time, I was getting long-term care payments from Nationwide, Transamerica, John Hancock. I didn't realize that it was a life insurance. Yes, guys, I'm talking about life insurance that you can leverage while you are still living, including long-term care. A lot of my clients, after they gone to the hospital, had hip replacement, knee replacement, right? They had Medicare, but Medicare does not pay for a very long time. It's limited. So they are able to stay in the nursing home and get the care that they needed, right? On a long-term care basis, and their life insurance companies. Again, Nationwide. Nationwide does not only do auto insurance or home insurance, they do life insurance, they do retirement plan, they do annuities, right? So when we see them on TV or auto, no, they do more than that, right? Transamerica, they do more than handle your 401k. Life insurance companies. And I said, oh my God, my community, I didn't know it, even though I had been in the field for 23 years. And I had many clients who had long-term care policies that I was billing for and I was collecting for. I didn't know. I said, you know what? I cannot be selfish because the only place you're selfish is in the market, right? So I cannot be selfish. I need to go learn this and then share with my community, which is how I got in the industry. From obtaining the information for myself to cover my family, then I say, you know what? My community deserves to know that when they hear life insurance, it's not about death. It's about living. It's life insurance. So again, I really hope that I bring you guys some perspective on life insurance. So whatever you have, review it. If it's a term, does it have living benefits? Living benefits are critical, chronic, terminal illness. If it only has accelerated death benefit, that's terminal illness, and it's when you have 12 months or less to live or 6 months or less to live, right? If you have a term, you have to ask yourself, so if it's a 20-year term, 30-year term, does that mean you're going to die within whatever the period left on your policy, 10 years, 15, 20 years? Do you not want to live beyond that? Let's get you into a strategy that guarantees to take you at least 200 years. We can get you into a whole life. Or if you want something that you can really build, right? Live generational wealth. Let's get you into an IUL if it's fitting for you. There's no way that we should be giving everybody one strategy. No one client is alike. So while we say, well, this is what we have, no. When you sit down with me, again, I have multiple companies I work with as a broker. I have access to over 100 companies. So I'm able to help even if you have chronic illness. I have companies that will give you policies that will give you coverage even if you're a cancer survivor, as long as you've been in remission between 3 to 5 years, right? We can do that. If you smoke, whether it's cigarettes or whatever, we have companies that will give you coverage. They understand, right? We have our vices. So we can cover even if you smoke other than cigarette, right? So again, if you have HIV, I have companies that will give you that will give you coverage. So that is the benefit of being a broker. So we work with a lot of companies. We do a lot of things. So now let's say that I sit down with you and you don't have the finances are not there because of debt. I can help you with debt management, with debt consolidation. So there is no reason for you not to DM me protect. So let's go ahead, DM me protect so that we can get together. And of course, it is no charge to you to review your policies to ensure that your families will be protected beyond your life, beyond your days. Because guess what? When your family is protected, they will thank you, right? They will bless your name. They will not curse you. So you will be unforgettable, not just a memory, right? So again, be intentional and let's not be reactive in our planning, right? So don't wait till you get an illness, try to get a policy. While you are young and healthy and able, get something, protect your family, leave a legacy, let's build generational wealth, right? The informed, the elites, we call them, guess what? They're not planning for one generation, they're planning for 8 generations, right? But us, our kids, right, they're starting off behind the 8 ball, they don't have college planning. We can do better. Those strategies are available to us. So there's no reason for us not to be tapping into those strategies. So if you are listening to me, you're watching me, right? And you don't have anything for your family, DM me protect so that we can put a plan in place for your family. So moun ki pa pale an pil anglè, ou ban pale avè nou koun ya, mwen pa bliye nou non, mais so, nan pale de assurance, m konen ke le nou tan de assurance de vie, nou pense ke nou pral mouri. Non, mwen la pou mzou ou pap mouri. Ou dwe mette yon bagaj sou plas pou fami ou, pas seulement leur mouri, mais si ou malade, ban mando, si ou malade kounya la, ou pa kal travay ankon, si ou gon diagnosis cancer, stroke, ou bien ou fè yon crise cardiaque, ou bien ou gon maladie kote ke pou ale e fè yon transplant d'organe, si pou retire foie, ou retire kidney, whatever, et ou pa kal travay ankon. Ki impact sa tap gen sou fami ou? Wata koum te pale matin, et d'après moun que yo parlé avec yo, 44% moun nan Amerika, après 6 mois, yon moun mouri, yon moun c'est li même qui te kon apote manger nan kala, qui te responsable kala. Après 6 mois, li mouri, famille get an destruction. Après 57%, après 1 an, yo commencé senti effet moun sa ki pa la. So faut commander tête ou sous son maman, sous son papa, c'est ou même qui responsable kaila, c'est ou même qui te kon fait plus comme nan kaila. Koun yo pa la, qui sa famille ou pa le fait, les comme ça pas rentrer encore. Et li pas nécessairement besoin de mort. Sous malade ou pas kal travail encore. Qui ça ou gagner pour remplacer un comme ça que ou te kon fait dans travail ou. Et assurance que ou capable prendre, assurance de vie, right? Que ou capable prendre qui capable remplacer comme OK. Qui ça dit par la Daniella? Et assurance que nous gagnons ça que les living benefits. Pas vrai? Bénéfices vivants, whatever, right? Tu vas essayer de traduire ça. So, pendant ou malade, ou pas qu'à travail, ou relais assurance, hey, m'gon diagnosis de cancer, de stroke, crise cardiaque, ou bien, moi dit c'est guess what? Dépend qui plan ou gain, avec qui compagnie ou gain, guess what? Y a pas ou cob. Sans ou pas mando rien, ou pas mando aucune question, et ou pas gain pour remettre comme ça. Okay? Konen an pil nan nou, et an pil moun nan communauté ban nou, pil assurance. Gan pil nan nou konen gen assurance, mais faut qu'on mande tête pour qui ça me prend assurance ça moi te prend. Est-ce que assurance ça est-ce que l'a terminé? Ouais, term, 15 ans, 20 ans, 30 ans. Si par exemple, ou une assurance qui a fini dans 20 ans, dans 30 ans, c'est pour moi de tout. Si me là toujours ça qui a passé. Bon m'dou, l'on fin paye assurance ça pour 30 ans, yo pas voyer $1 ba ou, qu'on est assez appliqué pour appliquer encore. Et il va dépendre de santé ou pas jeune encore, ou pas une bonne santé encore. Guess what? La peu difficile. Pas dire que la impossible, non, mais la difficile pour yo ba ou assurance encore parce qu'on pas jeune ou pas une bonne santé encore. OK? So, faut qu'on calculer. So, ou gen ti moun, ki l'âge ti moun ou so gen mortgage, ou ba gen assurance après 20 ans, après 15 ans, après 30 ans. So, faut qu'on mande tête ou est-ce que, qui ça me doit faire? Ou doit relem, ou doit, et ou ka monter sur Facebook, ou bien ka relé station radio, radio télépuissance, relé Westner, dit comme ça, Westner, ok, m'go assurance, ça, m'ba quoi, li bon pour moi non, parce que la fini dans 15 ans, la fini dans 20 ans. Après, Westner, merci pour tout le travail qu'on fait dans la communauté, ou ben nous accès à la radio pour nous parler avec le peuple. So, moi, souhaite le peuple après le, grand pilar qui relé, mais yo pas jamais chita avec nous. Là, il pas relé pour nous relé Westner seulement. C'est pour nous chita avec nous. Pas vrai, parce que nous, pour information, ben nous, en pile, nous dit, oh, bonne information, bon, moi, voulais pour nous prendre action. On pas seulement prendre bonne information puis nous chita sous les. OK? So, moun qui gen ti moun petit, ou pas capable assurance. Sou pas là encore, sou malade, sou mourir. Nous pas capable gen assurance, pas faut que ti moun à l'école. Pas vrai? M'pas vle pour nous dire, oh non, m'pas là encore, y a dégagé, non. Ça, c'est égoïste. Pas vrai? En pile, non, nous porte Bible, non, mais nous, la Bible dit nous devons quitter héritage pour petit, non. So, mande tè qui héritage ou quitter pour petit, tout. Pas dit mou ba au Jésus. Y a bien qu'on doit ba au Jésus, mais ou doit ba au quitter l'argent pour yo tout, pour yo pas souffrir, pour yo pas devenu, homeless. Pas vrai? Pour pas perdre du caillou. So, si vous avez term insurance, relais Westner, relais moi, joignez-moi sur Facebook. Non, moi sur Facebook, c'est Daniella Noel. Et moi, m'gan pile EFN. But please, pas seulement mandez mes amis, après ça, et nous pas faire rien encore. So, faut que nous venions dans meeting avec moi pour moi aider nous. Pas vrai? So, nous gagnons term, si vous gagnez term, DM moi, protège, vos messages, moi dit, ou t'as aimé réviser, allez si vous gagnez, pour si c'est lui-même qui bon pour former ou. Gen moun se term non seulement yo ka afford, m'pa ka faire avec ça. So yeah, n'a pas ou term, but at least make sure que vous gon term qui gagne un bénéfice sous malade qu'on capable utiliser. Pas vrai? Et puis en pile compagnie que mon travail avec yo, et ou gen term nan yo bon nombre de temps, ou ka gen 20 ans, ka gen 25 ans, ou capable convertir. So là ou aller ou leur fin approuvé pour term nan, et ou rive nan point côté ko gen kob ou vle convertir nan plan permanent, yo pa garder et santé ou encore parce que te fin qualifié pour lui ou pas aucun médical pour le faire. OK? Après ça, gen plan que ou capable gagner ni pour 100 ans ou pour 121 ans. Yes, plan ça ou anti-genre puis expensive but you ba ou plus bénéfice. Right? So, encore, joignez-moi sur Facebook, follow me, mandez-moi zami, et puis pas seulement mandez mes amis, mais vin chita avec pour nous capables, ouais, ça ou gain pour nous make sure que nous capables protéger famille ou parce que nous care pour famille ou mérite ça. Right? Famille ou mérite ça. So, pas de raison pour quitter famille ou et sans protection. Okay, family. So, those who are watching later, please like, follow me so that whenever I come on, you can get the notification that I'm on so that you can come learn some more. So follow me, share, like, comment. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, see what you want to learn more about. I come on every Monday between 1 and 1:30. I want to come on at 1, but a lot of times I have other things going. But you can expect to see me here every Monday and 1:30. So now don't just take the information that you just learned and not do anything about it, right? So a lot of times we say, knowledge is power. No, if it's not applied, it's just information. And there is no transformation, right, if we're not applying the information that we are learning. So make 26 the year of improvement, the year of leveraging, right? So apply the information that you just learned. If you have a policy, go ahead and review it. Okay, why did I get this policy? Is it getting me to my destination, right? So every strategy is a vehicle, right? Is it going to get you to your ideal destination? Is it working for your family? When you got the policy, you had 1 kid. Now you have 5 kids. Is it enough to live for your 5 kids, right? Review it. So the last thing I want to touch on, a lot of us, we have wills, we have trust. When was the last time you checked? When was the last time you updated your trust? Your beneficiaries. You may have been married 2 years ago. You're no longer married. Guess what? If it's still on that policy, if she's still on that policy, she's the beneficiary. He's the beneficiary. So you need to update your wills and your trust to make sure that whatever you're leaving goes to the right people. Again, I thank you guys. I encourage you guys to follow me. Send me a DM with Protect if you want me to review your current strategy to make sure that it is the right vehicle for you and it is serving you and your family accordingly. Because guess what? Your family deserves it. You deserve it. Thank you. So, come on, let's go. Pep moi yo. Suive-moi sur Facebook. Voyez email bon moi, voyez texte bon moi. Mettez protect ou bien protéger pour m'ka connaître que nous voulons pour moi chita avec nous, pour moi capable faire stratégie avec nous, pour m'ka make sure que là nous malade, là nous mourir, famille nous pas subi, pas souffrir trop. Yeah, m'connais non m'pas ka et faut retourner à la vie, mais at least avre ou akite on la paix pour famille ou, right? Parce que là, par exemple, ou pas là encore, comme ça va montrer, guess what? La difficile pour famille, pour famille continuer vivre, right? Parce que, et l'on pas un plan en place, n'est pas bon pour. So make sure que nous protéger tête nous. Ce dernier bagage moi vle parler c'est quand il s'agit de testament final. Après, en pile nan nous gen ça qui le will et en pile nan nous ap prendre de trust. So ça me demande qui dernière fois second will, qui dernière fois ou réviser. Après, second trust, qui dernière fois ou réviser. Parce que situation là vous doit changer, vous doit marier ou pas marié encore. So, faut qu'on make sure que moun qui mette comme bénéficiaire sous trust one, c'est moun sa yo que ou vle. So, again, we're wrapping up. So, ma pou nous l'autre lundi, right? Même l'heure, même station, Radio Télépuissance. Merci Westner pour tout ça fait dans la communauté. Ma